Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Deadball Specialist, entitled Big Sam's Got 5 on it. We're back. The international boring football is finally over, so we can get back to the Premier League stuff.
Oh, God.
So on this week's show, we're going to be looking at the Premier results. We're also going to have a little call-in segment, and we'll be looking at the following weekend's results, the games, and we'll be kicking off from there. So without much further ado, let's get straight into it. We're going to talk about the big one that I'm very, very happy about, which is the Liverpool-Arsenal game. Now, in the last show, obviously, Ahmed, you were talking about Arsenal potentially winning this game. And I wasn't obviously as confident as you were, but 3-0. I'm just going to kick us off because, equally it's my team as much as your team. So I thought we were in charge the whole game. The thing for me was your first chance in the 30th minute and your second chance was in the 60th minute. I didn't really think you had much. I think as soon as Kieran Tierney went off, I just thought that's game over for Arsenal. In a defensive sense, because I think he brings so much to your team. I know you've highlighted how great he is, and I do really like him as a player, and I think that didn't help things straight away. But the first half was limited chances, right? I can only really think of the Salah chance from the cross from Mane across that he probably should have buried first time that he missed it. Second half, we kind of started to open up a little bit. That ball from Trent was crazy. It was such a great cross. And just shows Gareth Southgate what he's missing, I think, in a nutshell, with that pass. Jota, I know he played a lot of games in the international period, which is why he started on the bench. But he's so pivotal to us right now. And it really, really shows when he comes on because he's getting 2 goals. And he's so hungry for goals. He's like the Salah when Salah first came in. He just didn't really care about anything else but scoring goals. And Jota seems like he's got the same mentality for me, which is fantastic. Nice composed finish from Salah. And I think we dominated the game for that. I don't think there's really much more to be said about Arsenal in this game, but you tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I thought obviously you guys deserved it. Scoreline was about right. But for me, what kind of really annoyed me was the fact that they never turned up. And I put that down to one guy, which is Arteta. I just feel that look, I've always said for a long time, I want him out. I don't think he's any good. Maybe, this job is maybe too big or come too early for him. Either way, he's not the man to take us forward. Emery got sacked for way less, and somehow he's still in the gig. I don't quite get it. Yeah, so we were just off the pace and just horrible. I think it was Gary Neville said in the commentary, he said we were flaky. I mean, that's probably I mean, to be honest, he's being nice. I would have called us utter dog shit. I probably can't say that on Sky Sports, but yeah, I just thought we were really, really bad. And Rob Holding, oh my God, this guy, right, I've got a serious problem with him. He is mid-table championship quality. I'm not even joking.
I wouldn't say he's that bad. That's quite a harsh thing. He could walk into someone like I think he could walk into a team that's sitting around kind of 13th, 14th in the
What
league.
Prem team would he start for week in, week out? There isn't.
I think he'd walk into the Palace team.
Palace?
Yeah.
Palace have Gary Cahill, Scott Dan, all these people. I'd rather have them.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure.
I promise you. I was thinking about it. He wouldn't start for Everton. He wouldn't start for Villa. He wouldn't start for...
He's start for Newcastle.
Sheffield United. Huh?
Sheffield United. He's starting for Newcastle, Sheffield United, Palace.
Okay,
but let me ask you this. Yeah, fine, that's the level. But that's 13th, 14th in the Prem, that's not championship level.
Well, to be honest, there's a reason why we're 10th, basically.
There is that. Well, let me ask you this, and I think it's something I kind of broached to you earlier in the day. And I was talking about Arsenal and the Europa League, and it feels like he played a very strong team in that. And in our game, it seems like he rested those players because they had that game. And you've got another game on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, haven't you? You've got your Europa League coming up there. So with that in mind, knowing that you're sitting 10th, the game against Liverpool was kind of a non-game for you guys because you're not going to hit the top 4 marks. Your best chance of getting to Europe is always going to be winning the competition.
I disagree. For as a fan, you don't look at stuff like that. You want to win every game. Arsenal Liverpool at home is a huge game. I think you haven't won there since 2016.
Something like that.
Home since 2016.
Yeah.
5 years now. I thought we had a good chance. We should have won that game. If we're looking at on paper,
Yes, if you look at it
that
on
should have
paper.
been a win for us if we're being real. At Anfield, I would say you guys are way more likely to win. But at home, we should be winning those games, and we have done for 5 years until this guy.
Well, the thing is, you weren't exactly winning them, were you? The last few years, there were draws. A lot of them were draws.
There were some draws, yeah. But
Some
we
draws.
always put in a good performance, and we always usually do quite well against Liverpool at home.
Okay, well, forgetting about that.
That's, by the way, that's your third win in like 10 plus years.
Yeah, no, we don't really win at your ground. It's very true.
Exactly.
But what I will say is, you talk about just being as a fan that you want to win every game, and I wholeheartedly agree with you there. But the side of me is like, do you want to be realistic about where you're going to finish in Europe and what your opportunities are? So why not? It depends what you're going to level up now, because you're not in any competition but that, and you can't finish in the top 4 this year. So what else do you do? Do you not put your best players in that competition and say, we take the sacrifice in the league?
You have to, especially with big games at home, you have to put your best team out and try to win that game. You can't think about the next game, because if you do, you'll probably lose that one as well. You have to give 100% for every game where possible. Yeah, I get it. You might need to rotate. Ceballos came in and basically proved why he's on the bench every week. This guy left Real Madrid so he could force his way into a Spain squad for the Euros. He didn't get anywhere near that. You might go as a kit man or something, but he ain't. He ain't going as a member of that squad. He was awful.
Yeah, he wasn't great in that game. I said to you before that I do like him because he plays forward a little bit more so than I like Xhaka in the middle of the park. To be fair for your team, I would rather Ceballos, but
I mean, to be honest, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I much prefer Xhaka than Ceballos, and that is saying something.
wow,
It's basically like saying, "Oh, do you want to get shot in the leg or shot in the arm?" Neither are preferable. But if you had to choose one, I'd go Xhaka.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that is not saying a lot at all.
No, it's not. Okay, well, let's move on to the Chelsea West Brom game. So, the title of the episode, in fact. Kick us off, mate. 5-2 West Brom.
Absolutely did not see that coming. If someone had an ACCA, they would have said home win all day long. That probably ruined hundreds of thousands of ACCAs.
Yeah, it probably did.
So, yeah, people at home screwing. Oh, they probably got every result right apart from that one. Nobody saw that coming. I think Chelsea went 1-0 up, and then Pereira with 2 really good finishes just before half-time made it 2, and I thought, okay, cool. I was thinking maybe if West Brom could squeeze a draw, that'd be great. They were fantastic. They were playing it on the ground, no long ball antics, really good goals. Chelsea, I mean, Thiago Silva's a bit of an idiot. I mean, I don't know why he's lunging in like that. I do think, though, if Chelsea were down to, had 11, they probably wouldn't have won the game. But yeah, it was just a really entertaining game.
Yeah, I think for me, Chelsea made a lot of mistakes. It was very uncharacteristic for them to make so many mistakes. I think that's the first thing to point out. It wasn't like West Brom played well. There's no two ways about it. But there are a lot of silly mistakes. Like Chelsea gave the ball away a lot to West Brom, a lot of high up the pitch for West Brom. Yeah, Chelsea started brightly, as you would expect. And I think when they went 1-0 up, I just thought this is a foregone conclusion. They're just going to bring this home. Do you know what I mean? 2-3-0, be a comfortable game. Out of nowhere, West Brom was turning on the head. Like you said, the sending off made a massive difference. No two ways about that. But it was I think overall was too little too late for West Brom anyway. I don't think they're going to stay up, right? I think they're going down. But this result, coupled with a couple of other results this weekend, has been wonderful for Liverpool. Like, I still don't think they're getting top 4. You have always said they're getting top 4. This is showing that we could potentially get into the top 4 if results keep going this way, really. But this game alone, I think the goals from West Brom, all of the goals were lovely. Like, really all of the goals were really, really good goals. And it was a great game. It was nice to see West Brom do some bits. But again, Big Sam would be the guy to save you from the mire. But I just don't think. I think
it's too little, too late. I mean, for me, they should have just. I think they would have had a chance if they kept Slaven Bilic, but they didn't. They sacked him for no reason. I mean, that is one of the most nonsensical sackings I've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, Sam's come in. I agree with you. I think it's too late. Do you think they're going to go down?
Yes, yeah, I agree. Let's move on to the Newcastle Spurs game. Again, another result that went in Liverpool's favour, 2-2. Massive result for Newcastle. Like, humongous
Big
result.
point. That point might be pivotal at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I've been saying they're going to stay up. And I know you said they're going to go down and Fulham's going to stay up. That's what we've been talking about. And we'll move on to the Fulham game later. But, you know, Fulham lost. Fulham lost 3-1 and Newcastle got a point. So with the fact that Newcastle have a game in hand and now they're 3 points ahead of them, I do think that obviously the time keeps ticking on. It's getting harder and harder for Fulham to do it.
Yeah.
But let's just look at the game overall. I think Newcastle pressed really well all game. They're really on it. With Spurs really in their faces from the first minute. And then they stupidly gifted Spurs a goal. I mean, the equaliser was just a gift. Newcastle's first goal was nice, actually. I quite liked it. I thought it was a good finish.
That was also a gift as well from Sanchez.
It was, yeah, to be fair. It was a gift. The second one, it was a lovely finish from Harry Kane. Thoughts on him leaving? I do think if he wants to win something, he has to go. Absolutely. But I do think, and I was debating this actually with a few people who were just saying, like, is this guy now, 27, 28, worth 150 million? He's got glass ankles.
He's not worth 150 million.
Who nobody's got any money. So where does he go? Does he now see out his career at Spurs and win nothing, or out for the rest of his career? Because they may win the Carling Cup, but they ain't going to win anything.
Oh, he'll do that. He's satisfied with his Audi Cup. He ain't going nowhere. That would mean he needs to challenge himself and kind of put himself out there. He's not going to do that. He's comfortable at Spurs. He's a captain. He's a main man. He's a highest earner. He's just happy to bang goals in the Prem and win nothing and kind of plod along. That's what he'll do. Because
so you think that's it? He's not going nowhere.
Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. His mentality is mediocre. You know, he's not going to push himself to that next level to say, you know, knock on the chairman's door, but like, look, I want to leave. I want to go here. I want to win things. He's not going to do that. He says he wants to do that, but he's not going to do that.
I mean, there's a lot of elite journalists who say they're speaking to Harry Kane who disagree with you and say this guy is hungry for success.
I'm sure he is. But he's more hungry for comfortability. He's happy where he is. He's not going to go to a Bayern. He's not going to go to Madrid. He's not going to force his way out. He's not going to kick up a stink. He's just happy where he is, you know, winning nothing. And I promise you that will happen. They're going to lose to City in the Carling Cup final.
I think.
And then obviously that's another year without a trophy. If Harry Kane had won what Arsenal won in the past 6 or 7 years, he'd be more than happy to stay. And it's funny because people talk about Arsenal about not winning things and whatnot, and they've won more in the past 6 or 7 years than Spurs have won in like 30 years. You know, so
that's really true. Yeah.
You know, so but no, I don't think it's going in.
Okay. Arsenal boy Willock then levelling it at the end.
I think
it was sweet for all Arsenal fans, I'm sure, and I think it was a very well-deserved goal. How did you see the game? What were your thoughts?
I thought Newcastle were unlucky not to win the game. I thought they were really good. I thought they were at it from minute one. Like I said, they pressed well. They did lack something in the final third. That bit of invention. Oh God, this man, he's absolute rubbish. He's no good whatsoever. Honestly, I'll be surprised if he's like a farmer or something because he looks like a farmer. He's no good at all. But he did score. Fair play to him. But yeah, I just think they were missing something. But generally, Newcastle's play was quite good. So yeah, I thought for the most part, I thought they deserved to win the game. I thought Spurs were poor. Bit like us, not as bad as us, but I thought they were poor. Didn't really deserve anything from the game. So it would have been a travesty had they won.
Yeah, I think so too. I wouldn't disagree with you there. Jose Mourinho. So the interesting question on this. Now, they got rid of Pochettino, who we are both big fans of, if I'm not mistaken. You're also a massive fan of this guy. Pochettino had them challenging for the league, really. I know they didn't win it, but they were up and thereabouts. Final of the Champions League. Mourinho comes in. What have they said to their fans by bringing in Mourinho? Now, Mourinho normally is a guaranteed winner, but he alienates the club within 3 years. He falls out with all the players time and time. And, okay, he's got them to the Carling Cup final again. Other than that, really, has he done anything of note?
How
So
long has
Spurs,
he been there now?
do they?
When did they?
It's been there almost a season. By the end of this year, will be a year, right?
No, it's been longer than that, isn't it? When did they get
Yeah,
rid of
probably.
Pochettino? Oh, I think it was just before. When did they get rid of him? Was it just before lockdown or?
Yes, it was around. So I think Mourinho's always had a full season,
He's not
basically.
had a full season.
I think this will be his first full season at the end of
This
the
will be his
season.
first full season. Okay,
I
cool.
think he had like half of the back end of
Half a season. Okay, I would still say it's a bit too early to judge, but I would definitely would not have hired him. I would have stuck with Pochettino. Pochettino is a quality manager. Now look at it. He's at PSG, much bigger club. He's actually going to win things now.
Yeah, so this is my point. So what is that saying by getting Mourinho in your club? What does it say to your fans?
It's saying to the fans that we're going to deliver you, trophies. We're going to do this. We're going to do big things. Even though I disagree with that whole premise that bringing in Mourinho guarantees you trophies. He was at United, the biggest club in the world, with the biggest budget. What did he win? The
He
Europa
won
League and
the
a
Europa League
Carling
and
Cup.
Cup. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And he was there what,
And
4
the
years?
charity shield or something like that.
Charity Shield. Okay,
He
cool.
won three trophies in his second year.
Listen. I mean, Giroud has more charity shields than Mourinho does. So it's not really saying much. But
But he did win stuff though, didn't he? So he does. So that term of him
so
being a
hold on.
guaranteed winner is fact.
Hold
He's
on. If
still
you're
winning
United,
stuff.
listen.
Yeah.
If you're United, you don't bring in Mourinho to win the Europa League and
No, I agree.
a League Cup. You're going for the big honours, and he didn't do that. He failed there. He failed at Chelsea, and he's going to fail at Spurs. I just think he's washed.
So what happened to Spurs now? Where do they go from here?
Oh, Spurs are going to just be languishing around 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever. They're just mediocrity. But no one's really focusing on them because we're so bad at the moment.
Yes, but I think the Spurs thing, they bought a new stadium. They've got a lot of investment in the club. They cannot allow for mediocrity anymore. Like the fans aren't allowed. The chairman won't allow with how much money they're sunk into that club.
This is why they're going to crash and burn. This is why they're not going to win anything. This is why when he goes, it's going to be acrimonious. It is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's like? So do you know when you get like a crate of tomatoes, right? You know, if one of them's spoiled and you put them in within the rest of the tomatoes, it spoils the whole crate.
Yeah.
Mourinho is that rotten tomato. Like you put him into any club, any situation, and he spoils and just, rots the rest of them. That's what's going to happen. I give him one more season, and he's going to implode like he always does.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be over for him. Right, let's look at the Southampton Burnley game, mate. Hassan Hootel, finally. I'll let you kick this one off, mate. Tell me.
No, I'm delighted for him. Honestly, I've been singing his praises for a long time. A really good manager. I'm glad he's getting the results now. Came from 2-0 down, by the way, which is, that's takes a lot of bottle to do that. Against Burnley are quite solid as well. So well deserved for Southampton. I'm glad they won. Really good. Danny Ings, by the way. I mean, I've heard rumours that he's going to go to City to replace Aguero. So
I was actually going to ask you a couple of questions on that. Interesting, you mentioned. I'm glad you got there before me. So for me, it was 100% a penalty, by the way, and it was a good penalty from Wood. I think VAR has been working a lot this weekend. In the City game, it worked, and in the Southampton game. I know normally we slam it, but actually, credit where credit should, worked really well this weekend for once. So agree with you to turn around 2-0 against a strong Burnley team. Fantastic, really, really good going on Southampton's part. Ings is so composed and he's very, very, he's classy on the ball. He's got a good finish, got good vision. Now, City, our thoughts on that rumour, I was going to ask you your thoughts on that rumour. I think that actually makes perfect sense because if he stays fit, he's not going to have to press as much as he did when he was at Liverpool because City are not pressing as much as they were before. He's got all the class to link up play, hold the ball up, play in people. So is that not a no-brainer for City? Because they don't have to spend loads of money. It'll be a £50 million buy max, surely.
Of course. I mean, I think he's much better than Gabriel Jesus.
I agree.
Much better. So Gabriel Jesus is starting most weeks. Why is Danny Ings not starting? So yeah, no. If I was City, I'd definitely go from. However, that is a major downgrade. Going from one of the greatest players ever in Sergio Aguero down to Danny Ings. I mean, I don't know how City fans would react to that. All three of them, by the way, all three City fans. I don't know how they're going to take losing their legend. Have you ever met a City fan?
Yeah, one.
I'm struggling to think. I don't think I've ever met one.
I used to work with one lad.
Oh wow!
Who was a City fan.
Proper unicorn.
Yeah, but I will say this. I agree with
Yeah,
you. I think the step down from Aguero to Ings is massive, but
yeah,
Ings is on better form than Jesus. Number one,
yeah.
I agree with you wholeheartedly there. If
Mm,
City don't bring in a big name,
uh-huh.
Ings is the perfect kind of player to tie them over for a season or two and get
I
you
think so.
30 goals across all competitions.
Yeah.
Whilst, Ferran Torres and all the rest of your boys like
Mm,
Silva and all that, I'm sorry, Sterling and players like that are still just bombing past
uh-huh.
and Mahrez doing you a lot of stuff. So
Uh-huh.
is he not the perfect stopgap for a year or two?
I think he is. I think if you give him a 2-3 year deal, I mean, obviously it's a pretty bad injury record, but I think if you give
Hmm.
him 2 or 3 year contract, it's a no-brainer, is it not? I mean, I would
I
definitely
think
go for
so.
it. You
I
know,
think so. But
he's proven Premier League quality. So,
yeah, no, I agree. And I think your point of City fans not being happy though is a good point because
uh,
how will they PR that? How will they say?
you can't. You can't. I mean, to be honest, I honestly think Aguero is worth another year at least. So,
Yeah, but Pep doesn't. He doesn't run around anymore, and Pep doesn't like that.
yeah,
This is
it's a
the big
shame,
problem.
but like someone of that quality, I think definitely worth another year, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Villa Fulham game. So again,
Mm,
big struggles for Fulham.
mm,
Like I said, I do think they're down. Absolutely. I know we will continue to debate this, but I
yeah.
think with Newcastle's result as well, um, and Fulham's result, I think the gap keeps getting like that.
I don't think they're done.
Okay, so
Mm,
we'll just kick off with that game. But Fulham actually really had a lot of confidence going into the game. They've had some really great results running up to that. And I think they started really brightly. And it showed that's why they went ahead early. And they were actually really in that game. They looked quite good. But as soon as Trevor Gay got one, both his goals were classy
oh,
finishes, by the
great
way.
finish, yeah.
Um, but as soon as Villa got one, you could see the momentum. It was just going. And I think Fulham just then struggled to cope with the
Yeah,
spin around.
exactly. I mean, I thought Fulham were quite lucky to get the first one, and I thought, you know what, if they hold out, I mean, if they were winning, and if it had stayed 1-0, they would have been out of the relegation zone,
Yeah,
and Newcastle would have gone in. So I thought that would have been a huge result for them. But it's just the last minute they let it slip, which you can kind of understand. You know, they're in the bottom three for a reason. So so I kind of got that. I thought Trezeguet's first finish was fantastic. Literally, I think it was a half volley side foot. Really good goal, and they just collapsed after that. They just even if they held them for a point, that would have been a good result for them.
I
But they
think so.
just, I thought their heads were gone, and they just gave up basically, which is a shame. But I still back Fulham to get out of it because they have what Newcastle don't have, and that's goals. You know, they can go anywhere and they can score. They can also
But they
concede too.
concede so much. This is the
They
problem. They
do,
concede more than Newcastle, I feel.
they do. Oh yeah, 100% they concede more than Newcastle. But it's, I think if we're getting towards the business end of the season, I think if each game ends 4-3 for them, they'll take that all day long, obviously.
Yeah, but
So
think of it this way, right? There's only 8 games left,
mm,
and there's a 3 point difference, and they've both got pretty tough running. Neither of them have got. You wouldn't say either one of them has got a really favourable running against
no, I
anyone.
agree. Yeah,
So
they're both playing us, by the way, which is
I know,
interesting.
I
Yeah.
know. I mean,
So
I think for me, I just think there's two. This, the best of the finish. I just think the gap is there as 3 points. It's not the biggest gap in the world, but I just think one more result goes in Newcastle's favour, then that's it. It becomes 6 points, and 6 points with 7 games left sometimes feels
I
insurmountable.
think at the moment it's probably 50-50. I can't call it now. So I mean, I tipped Fulham to stay up and Newcastle
Yeah,
to go down. Now I don't know. It can honestly go either way. Who knows? Both of these teams have the capability of beating anyone, apart from City, beating anyone in the top six, right? But they can also lose to anybody in the top six. Both of these teams.
yeah.
Um, so it just I can't call it. It's quite tight.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll move on to the Leicester Man City game.
Hmm.
Now, in the previous show, we talked about De Bruyne, Fabregas, and Mesut Ozil, and I was singing De Bruyne's praises. And I think he just went on to show exactly why I was singing his praises in this game. I know you have slightly different views to this, but first off, it was a great free kick that hit the bar. Again, we'll come back to this in a bit, but the VAR point working this well with both teams having disallowed goals, and they both were offside within their own right. So I'm glad that worked out. But De Bruyne's pass of the second goal cut through the whole Leicester defence. There was a 5-man running, and the weight was perfect.
It was a great ball.
It was insane. Yeah, it was fantastic. And I think he's showing why he is the best player in the league again in this game. I think he has everything personally, like shots, passes, crosses, anything you want, he's got. City, obviously, we know it's a foregone conclusion for those guys. I think Leicester always looked dangerous in the counter-attack, but they were missing that little bit of sometimes they just look a bit classier than that. It just seemed a bit disjointed at times, I felt.
Yeah.
I don't know, how did you see it?
I mean, I felt the same. I thought, look, City are a machine. I'm not sure if I backed Leicester to get a point here. I think I did back Leicester to get a point. Yeah, so I thought Leicester were a bit disappointing. City were the usual themselves. I thought De Bruyne's ball was fantastic. They're going to win the league, by a big margin, I think. I mean, yeah, stick around for the insights here. City are going to win the league. No shit, Sherlock. But they're going to win it by a huge margin. They're just too good. But I really did think Leicester were going to get something out of the game.
Do they do the quadruple?
No, absolutely not.
What do they miss out on?
Champions League. I think they're going to miss out on the Champions League and maybe the FA Cup. I don't think they're going to clean sweep England, and I don't think they're going to win the Champions League. I think they'll win the League Cup and the league.
Yeah, the league's a foregone conclusion. I think.
Yeah.
Why don't you think they'll win the FA Cup?
I don't know. I just think their record in it is not that great. They lost to us and Mustafi last season. So I just think their record is a bit dodgy in the FA Cup. I mean, since their owners came in with their huge amounts of money. I mean, how many times have they won the FA Cup? Twice, maybe? Once? I don't know. Not that. I think
they've won it. Yeah, because just a couple of times. Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay, so, who wins the Champions League this year?
I'm going to go PSG. It's about time they win it. They should have won it last season, but Bayern were unstoppable. I think Bayern are, I don't know. I don't think they're as strong as they were last season. I'm going to go PSG.
You don't think Liverpool are going to do it?
Liverpool has as much chance of winning the Champions League as we do. No way.
Don't be silly. First off, we are still in it. You weren't even in it this year, were you? The second thing is,
there's no need for
we've had more chances.
Oh yeah.
The second thing is, and let me just ask you this: is like, if you look at all the things, the last time Messi and Ronaldo were out of the competition at this stage, guess who won it?
Liverpool.
Yeah, and also now no Sergio Ramos, and I looked at all of Madrid's results in the Champions League without Ramos, and I think they've won only like 2 of those games, and they've lost about 5.
I think you'll beat Madrid over 2 legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's not Anfield, absolutely.
I think you're going to scrape by, but I think you'll just beat them.
And then who do we get knocked out?
I don't. Oh, I think if you come against Bayern or PSG or anyone like that, you're done.
You think PSG will take us out?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think PSG will win. I think it's their time. They've remember the Qataris came in 2011, so it's 10 years. 10 years of investment. They're going to get there.
Okay. We'll see. So let's then. Did you want to add anything to the Leicester City game at all before we move on?
No, I just thought that Vardy was a bit quiet.
Yeah.
Really expecting him to get a goal or 2. It's a shame.
Tielemans looked good, I thought.
Oh, he always looks good. He's a baller. I think honestly, he's due a big move. I think.
I think you're right there. He's one that goes under the radar a little bit. He's a very good player.
Really does. Very good player. I think he's going to get a big move in the next season. In the summer, I think. Where
do you see him going to?
He might go to Chelsea or United. Ooh. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's look at the Leeds Sheffield United game. So, it was 2-1 to Leeds.
Mhm.
First goal, great work from Rafinha, lovely little dribble, and just dropped it off, easy goal. Leeds controlled it. I thought Sheffield United just given up. I think since Wilder's gone and basically Wilder admitted they're getting relegated, I think all the players are probably just thinking, let's kick on next year. We'll just get this done. There's 8 games left. We're not going anywhere. They're already on holiday, basically, in their mind, aren't they?
You can tell that they're literally just down tools, and I don't blame them really because they've lost their greatest ever manager. They're not going to survive this, and they're definitely looking towards next season. So I can see where they're coming from. To be honest, it was closer than I thought it would be. But Leeds did deserve it. But yeah, Sheffield United are dead and gone, and they look like a defeated club. I think if you play them and you don't get 3 points, I think that's horrible. I don't care who you are in the league. If you're up against Sheffield United and you don't get 3 points, that's like, what are you doing? Because they're just giving it out.
Do you not think it's a bit sad? Do you not think it's a bit sad?
Of course, they should never have sacked him. They should have gone down, let him regroup, let him spend, get rid of a few players, and refresh the squad, and then try again for the next season to try to come back up again. Sacking him was stupid, especially when the new manager who came in did not have any time to try to, or money to kind of get them out of the situation they're in. It's just made no sense whatsoever. If they were going to sack him, they should have sacked him months ago.
Absolutely. But sacking him full stop was just a terrible idea, I think.
It's just terrible, yeah. It made no sense.
Okay. Anything else to add to that game?
No, I thought Leeds are good. I mean, Leeds really impressed me. It's funny because I actually did think they would finish slightly higher. Not finish, but like I thought they'd be slightly higher. They've been a bit hit and miss this season. I really did think they were going to finish, top 6, 7, 8, maybe somewhere around there. They're not far off that, of course. They could still do it, but yeah, because I was so impressed with them last season. I thought they'd be doing a little bit better than they are in the Premier League at the moment. But I think next season they're going to kick on. I think they could do a Villa times 100. Villa stayed up by the skin of their teeth last season, heavily invested, and now they look like a real side. I think that'll be Leeds next season.
So you think Leeds will continue to push on?
100%, yeah, 100%. Wherever they finish this season, they'll finish a few places higher next season, I think.
Wow. Okay, so you don't think they're going to go in the way of Sheffield United and have a great year and second season syndrome?
Absolutely not. They're too good. But then I thought that about Sheffield United too, so who knows?
That's what I mean. And the thing is with Leeds, I think if Leeds want to have another season, a Villa-esque season, then I think what they need to do is not just the investment, is keeping hold of Bielsa, is keeping hold of that structure. That's key for me. I think he goes, Leeds slip down, straight back down to the Championship. I think.
Hold on, you think they're going to get relegated next season?
No, I think if he was to go, I think he goes, they go down straight away.
I don't know about down, but they'll be pretty close to it, I think. I just feel that he's so key to everything. He was key to their promotion, key to their survival. He is that club. He's the essence of it. So, yeah. And it's funny because I can actually see him going in the next season or two. Just being like, no, I'm done with this and just walking away. That is a possibility. He's done that a few times. He did that at Marseille. He did that at Bilbao. He's got form for that. He doesn't really stay too long at like an individual club.
Interesting. So it's just a project for him and then he moves on.
It could be. Yeah. He brought them up, keeps them in the league. You could say my job is done. So.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. So the last game, before we get some calls on, I know we're about 5 minutes until we get some callers on the line. So the last game is the Man United Brighton one.
Oof.
So as we speak, it's 2-1 United.
For fuck's sake.
Frustrating for me because 2-1 United. So obviously that game is still going on as we record this podcast. Just so you guys are aware. But when we left it, it was 1-0 to Brighton. But we were really strong in the first half, I thought. Actually, a very deserved lead to them. United hit the post, and that was the only thing that happened. And they didn't have a shot on target. I think that's the first time in a long time. First half, they've not had a shot on target.
I heard that.
And they look lackluster. I mean, Rashford and Greenwood's coming to get the goals, but I like Brighton. And we all know, we've both sung Graham Potter's praises for a long time. It's unfortunate, but Man United, are they now a good team under Ole? Is this the thing? Are they now top four material? Are they now going to kick on and going to go win stuff?
They're not going to go win stuff. They're not going to kick on. Not
Why?
while that, because they've got a Norwegian PE teacher as a manager. He's not going to do anything for them.
But they're currently second. You're saying this, but you're currently second in the league. They're still. Are they still in the Europa League? Yeah, they are, aren't they?
They are.
No, they are there. Yeah, so they're still in the Europa League. Still in? Are they in the FA Cup still? I'm pretty sure they are.
Yes, they are. No, they got kicked out by Leicester. Leicester beat them.
No, you're right.
So
yeah, you get
they're right. Yeah.
So they're second in the league. In the Europa League. That's not bad for a PE teacher.
I mean, a lot of it is through default. You know, obviously City are running away with it. Liverpool have dropped off. Chelsea have dropped off after a huge investment. Leicester are kind of there or thereabouts. But if you're United, you should be aiming to win the title. And what are they? Like 11 points behind City at the moment, or something?
And more than that, it's about 13, 14. But,
oh wow, okay.
But But it's a rebuild job at United. United, since Fergie's left, they've not really been in the competition to win anything.
Fergie left in 2013.
Yeah, so what have they won the league since then?
No, they haven't. They haven't, and they've had the money to go out there and to rebuild. They've gone for like 3 or 4 different rebuilds, and it's yielding no success.
Who got time? You know? Who really got a long time? No one.
No one.
How did he get that long?
No. The only person who got
3
time.
years.
Yeah, the only person who actually really got time and money and patience is Ollie. The rest of them didn't. They didn't give Moyes time. They didn't give Van Gaal time. They didn't give Mourinho time. Even though I think they should have. They definitely right in sacking Mourinho. Thought he was no good. But none of them got the patience and the time that Ollie got. So
this is my point. And really, I mean, Mourinho got 2.5, 3 years. So Mourinho didn't get the backing. They didn't back him financially because he said there were 2 players that he didn't want, and they bought them anyway. Yeah. So that was the thing with Mourinho. But we rip Ollie because we think he's won stuff in Norway. He won stuff in Norway, didn't he? And he won the league with Molde or whatever, which is not an achievement. I get that, but
for Norwegian farmers, who cares?
He understands the club. He understands what kind of football they need to play to make him successful. He's got an exciting squad in his hands, really. So, is it too much to expect them to do more next year? Because they'll be in the Champions League next year. They'll
get kicked out at the round of 16 or the quarterfinals again. It's just, what's the point? You know, I don't really see Arsenal or United too dissimilar. I just think they're two kind of big clubs who have just kind of fallen off so badly that now people are willing to accept mediocrity in Ollie, in Arteta, in Xhaka, in Fred, and all these other people. It's just, look how far we've fallen.
Yeah, I mean, you two have fallen very, very far. But Liverpool did too, I think. You forget that. We had a big period of not really competing for anything. And we went like this. Liverpool been like that. If you think about it, we finished second a couple of times. We won the Champions League in a couple of Champions League finals. But up until the last 3 years, we've not really...
Well, it's true though. But like, you guys have shown a lot of initiative, you know. You got the Champions League final, missed out on the league by a point, came back the next year, won them both.
Right, okay, so we've got our first call, mate. Sorry to cut you off there. So let's go with our first one. We'll admit our first one, and we'll go from there. So.
Okay.
Hey, Simon. How are you doing today? What's a question for us?
Hey, guys. So the question is, with Granit Xhaka missing, Arsenal failed to keep the ball in the middle of the park. Ceballos and Partey were poor. Do you think this highlights Xhaka's quality and importance to the team, or do you think it's more an indictment of our transfer policy and our squad in general?
That's a great question, Simon. Thank you.
That is a great question. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'll let you kick off with that. Thank you for your question, Simon. We're going to remove you from the call because we've got a couple of others lined up. But
great question, Simon.
Great question.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. See you, mate. I was going to say, I mean, that's I would say with the latter, I think it's a damning indictment. I mean, we obviously people were talking yesterday about our defeat and how much we missed Xhaka. It is an absolute indictment that this man has been at our club since 2016, and we've not made the Champions League once since then. I'm not saying it's down to him. I'm not saying it's his fault. But if we're missing someone as poor as that, we have huge problems at our club. Huge problems. We went from Cazorla and Ramsey. And if you're going further back than that, we're talking Vieira, Gilberto, all these great players.
Petit, Emmanuel Petit,
Petit, oh my God, like
that was a long time.
Now we've got
that was a long time ago.
Ramsey wasn't long ago. Cazorla wasn't long ago.
No, that's true.
And now we have Granit Xhaka, who's our skipper up until. I mean, to be fair, I actually did agree with him. There have been many times I wanted to tell Arsenal fans to fuck off, and he actually did that. So he kind of lived my dream there. So I respect him for that. But it just shows you how far we've fallen and how bad our transfer policy is. That this man starts for us week in, week out, and does nothing. And it's funny as well. Like, we're so bad that if he doesn't play, we miss him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that says it all. I think for me, I think Arsenal have been on a steady decline for a few years, and I think he's just very much a player of the signs and the times of you guys. So, thank you for the question, Simon. We're going to move on to the next one. I think this caller is called Mourinho Truther. So let's see what he's got to say. Hello, Mourinho Truther 182.
Welcome.
Welcome, and what's your question for us today?
What's going on, G's? Basically, first and foremost, Ahmed, don't want none of your Arsenal bias, all right? Listen, now, Mourinho, for me, fam, you ain't been giving the players. Like, man's fullbacks are gone. They ain't playing for him. Bale sat there cashing check. Like, I'm not happy. Levy not backing the guy. Like, the man's elite. He's won it all. He's got moles in the dressing room. What do you want the man to do?
Mourinho Truth, that is actually a really, really good question. The moles in the dressing room, we had one who was busy leaked. To this day, by the way, we don't know who it is. There was someone in the Arsenal dressing room or close to the staff who's basically leaking stories to the press every week. People say it's Ozil because ever since he left, it's been
It stopped. Yeah, it probably was Ozil.
It stopped, exactly. As for kind of Mourinho not being backed, this man, right, he saw he had a problem at right back. Who did he go and buy? He bought Matt Doherty. Who ended up being worse than Aurier. Now, I don't think he's worse than Aurier. I think Doherty works best in as a wing back rather than a full back, a right back in a flat back four. Okay, he bought Højbjerg, who's been, I think, their player of the season. He's been fantastic. So he's been backed. He has Son and Kane up front. He's the one that wanted Bale to join on loan. He picked him out. Levy's backed him. He has Ndombele at Højbjerg. With that team and that squad, he should be way higher than he is.
Højbjerg is a great player. That was a great buy.
Great buy for Spurs.
But
yeah,
he's not been spending. He used to spend 40-50 million pounds on every player, on every single player.
Levy won't let him do that. But then for me,
so he's not been backed.
Well, it's not that he's not been backed. He walked into that job. He knew he's not going to get the same money at Spurs he got at United or Madrid or whatever. He has to work with what he's got. But if we're looking at what he's got a really good squad. He's got a fantastic left back in Reguilon. He's got France's captain, a world-class keeper in Lloris. I think
Lloris is passing, but
yes, but we'll talk about his profile and whatnot. He's got one of the best strikers in the world, and Harry Kane and Son alongside him, two ballers.
Yeah.
He's got Lucas.
He has got a good team.
He has a great core squad, and he's messed up on that.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Mourinho Truther 182. We've got a couple of other calls on the line, so thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Great question.
Great question. So I think next we have on Hitoshi. So let's see what question Hitoshi's got for us. Hello, Hitoshi. How are you doing today? What question have you got for us?
Hello. So I don't know if you've covered this already. So sorry if this sounds like you're reliving past conversations. But so with Sergio Aguero, obviously he's going to be moving on quite soon. So do you think he could do like a Luis Suarez style one last hurrah season for someone like, I don't know, some small team like Arsenal, or do you think?
Dios mío.
Fan as well. Or do you think he's been kind of managed out of like playing at City? So is there still something there that he could contribute, do you think? Or do you think he's done? He's a busted flush?
That's a
great question. Well, let's back into that one. So
Go on.
I think he's far from past his best. I think he's fantastic. I think he's too loyal to City to go to any other club in England, personally. I don't think he'll ever go to another club in England. But I think he could have a wonder season. If he went to Spain, he's still got 2 or 3 years scoring 15, 20 goals in the league. I think somewhere there. For me personally, Ahmed, how do you see it?
I honestly, Tosh mentioned that small club in North London. I would give my left nut for him to join that small club in North London. Could you imagine the upgrade going from Laka to Sergio Aguero of all people? I've been a huge fan of this guy since he was at Independiente.
Yeah.
I discovered him on Football Manager. Absolute wonder kid. He did bits for me, and then I sold him on to a bigger club for a huge profit. Helped rebuild the squad and whatnot. But I think if he joined Arsenal, that would be amazing. I think he has at least 2 or 3 seasons easily. But I don't think he'll join us because we're obviously too small, and we can't pay his wages. So I think he'll go to Italy, and I think he'll sign for Inter, because I think either Lukaku or Lautaro Martinez, one of those guys will move on this season, in the summer, and I think he'll go to replace them. So dead cert for Inter, I think.
That's a great shout. Well, thank you for your question, Toshi.
Thank you, Tosh.
So we'll speak soon. Thank you,
Cool.
Tosh. And
See you later.
See ya.
so, moving on, we've got Nana. Nana, who was once a fantastic
Jeez.
guest on this show. So, we've got another call on that. So, Nana, what's your question for us? Oh, I think he's still connecting to the audio.
Oh, he's still connecting. That's right. Nana bought his phone on AliExpress, so it's not quite connecting properly. We'll give him a minute.
We'll give him a minute. See how he gets on. And then we've got one more call lined up. Stretford Shameless. So interesting to see what Shameless is called. It's called lined up for.
That's
So
a
we're
great
excited to see that.
Stretford Shameless.
Is Nana having audio troubles?
Yeah.
Are you connected to us, Nana? Are you with us?
I'm here.
Amazing. Nice to have you back
jeez.
on. What's your question?
Thomas Partey.
Ghanaian king.
Yeah, but now he's more of like a Ghanaian pauper. As in, like,
They're not
he
going to let you
came
back
on-
into Accra talking like that.
Oh, I'm a king there. My last name is also not fine. To me, he started first 3 games, but we've not seen the Atletico dominant midfield player. And I'm not sure why. Is that his partner, or is it just we expected too much too soon?
That's a fantastic question.
That's a great question. I think for me, if I'll jump in on that, if you don't mind, Ahmed, is that I love Partey. I think he's quality, and I think he's shown you flashes in a lot of games. And I think, Nana, you're right in that the best performances overall have been, for the whole 90, have been their first few games. But I think he's shown you flashes in so many games of what he could be. I think it's Arteta's system that doesn't suit him massively. I think absolutely it's the company alongside him. Playing with Xhaka, El Neni, and Tobias is not really the elite level of player he should be playing with.
Osama bin Arteta.
But how you managed to secure him and buy him, I think, was a massive coup for Arsenal. I don't know how you got that play, because for me,
Can I tell you
other
how?
options.
Can I tell you how? Do you know when you're on a night out, right? And
go on.
you see an absolute worldie, right, at the bar, and you think to yourself, she's never going to entertain this. But you go up, right, and you say what you need to say, and you end up taking her home or whatever. It can happen. It's a 1 in a million thing. So what we've done is that we've gone up to the worldie at the bar, we've blagged it, taken her home, and now we know what to do. So we had the first steps right, and now we've got her. We're panicking because what happens next? Because we've never been here before. That's exactly what happened. We've taken a world-class player and introduced him into a vat of toxic acid and crap. So I feel sorry for Thomas Partey. He's probably thinking, I've been missold here.
But then my thing was like, he's like to me, I've let go. He's like the ultimate box-to-box player. He was like BBM, back and forth with technique and passing, but he's not doing any of that at the moment, and like he just seems very slow behind the ball.
he's not dominating as you think someone with his physique and power would. And
Exactly.
again, like I get if the system's not right, but his size doesn't change. So why is he not dominating? Or is it just
Okay,
everyone
so
in Spain small?
Do you think he's playing within himself because
that's
of
probably
because
part
of
of it,
what
to be
I've
honest.
asked?
I mean, for me, the big thing is, have you ever heard the expression, never get into a fight with a chimney sweep? Even if you win, you'll still come out filthy, right?
No, I think that's a Somalian one, to tell you the truth.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, the land of proverbs. Yes, that is correct. Sorry, probably didn't quite translate properly, but basically, Shaka is that chimney sweep. Shaka is that filthy, rotten, toxic, whatever, and you put Partey alongside him. What's he
Yeah.
supposed to do? Look at, by the way, look at who his midfield partner was at Atletico Madrid. Saul Niguez or Gabby
Yeah.
or any of those other great players. So you go from Saul Niguez, Gabby, all these great guys, and put him up against Shaka, Ceballos, El Neni. What's he supposed to do? He's not Superman.
So do you think, if we dropped him into Chelsea system or Liverpool system,
He would ball out.
He would be
a beast. He would be a beast. I'm honest. I don't know why City didn't sign him, because he's like a perfect City player. They have most of the ball. He breaks things up. He intercepts. He's such an intelligent player. I don't know how we got him, and yeah, we're not using it correctly. It's a bit like giving a dog like $5,000. What's a dog going to do with $5,000? That's basically what they've done, like by signing Partey. So yeah.
Well,
Okay.
hopefully that answers your question, Nana. Thank you very much.
It did. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, baby. I'll see you soon.
Thank you soon. Love you too. Bye-bye.
Lovely to have Nana back. We've got
Yep.
one more call. So,
Ooh.
Stretford Seamus.
Stretford Seamus. Looking forward to this one.
Hello, Stretford Seamus. Hello, Stretford Seamus. Sorry for keeping you on hold for so long. There's been some great questions so far. So, what's your question for us?
That's all right, fellas. I'll keep it short and sweet because I've got to get back to the lady wife. Listen, I'm a big United fan. My question today is on David De Gea. Now, 3 years ago, De Gea was the premier goalkeeper. There was no one better. We gave the guy $350,000 a week to stand between the sticks, and now he's been replaced by the England third-choice goalkeeper. What on earth has happened to this fella?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Really, really good question. For me, David De Gea has probably had the biggest fall off of any player I can remember since Torres. Do you remember when Torres moved from Liverpool to Chelsea and how hot he was?
Yeah.
And then he moved to Chelsea and basically didn't score for like 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
De Gea has been kind of similar to me. I don't know what's happened. Is it the fact that he's got more money now? Is it the fact that he's so comfortable? Well, he was anyway. So comfortably the number one. And I always think that competition is good. Whether it's in your day-to-day work life, whether it's you're playing football, if you play like in a 5-a-side or 11-a-side or whatnot, if you've got someone who's kind of gunning for your shirt, gunning for your position, your performance goes up, your quality goes up. And I think that with Prem footballers or any footballer in general, if you've got no one behind you, snapping at your ankles and wanting that starting position, then I think your performance is dead because you just get complacent. And I think he's got really, really complacent. I still think the quality is there, but I think starting Dean Henderson is the right thing because he was fantastic for Sheffield United last season. And he's not going to make anywhere near the same level of mistakes that De Gea has. He's really fallen off. He should have moved to Madrid when he had the chance for his own career.
I think it's a multitude of things. I think those are the two big things. The failed move to Madrid is a big thing. I think that just meant his mindset changed at being United, and the fact that he had no competition. So it was kind of like, right, do I want to go to Madrid and take the next step in my career, or now I'm at this club, I've got no competition, I'm getting the biggest salary there is, so what does it really matter anymore? I might as well just have my cash, play football.
He's lost the hunger.
Yeah, exactly. The hunger's gone. He's still a world-class goalkeeper, but I think if he wants, he probably needs to go somewhere else and prove himself if he wants to become that goalkeeper again. I don't think at United he will become that goalkeeper he once was. I think his time there is probably done.
He's in desperate need of a move. He needs a move. He really does.
Hopefully that answers your question, Seamus.
Thanks, fellas. Love the pod. Keep up the good work. See you soon.
See you soon.
Cheers, Seamus.
See you, Seamus. Right, so that's the end of our call-in segment. So I quite enjoyed that for a call-in segment.
Love that.
Maybe something we could do again in the future. So
Absolutely.
before we leave you, we'll run through our predictions for next week's results. Fulham Wolves is the first game.
Fulham at home, right?
Correct.
I'm back in Wolves. I'm back in Fulham. I'm gonna go 2-1 Fulham.
Wow.
So must win for them. Wolves don't really travel well, especially to London. So
actually, before we get that, we've got actually one more call.
Ooh, do we?
Yeah. So let's
Bring them on. Bring them
let's
on.
bring them on before we. They're called Ibroxide and Neutrino. So let's see what question they've got.
This is throwing it back. Anyone under the age of 30 is not going to get this, but
hi, Ibroxide and Neutrino. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right, fellas. How are you?
All good.
Listen, it's a quick warning for my boy Kunnel. Listen, you stay away from Steven Gerrard. He's building a dynasty here. He's a legend at my club, right? And I'm looking forward to playing you in the Europa League next season and taking 3 points. See you later.
Wow, now he just left the call. What a bombshell. What a call.
You guys aren't getting to the Europa League next season.
Right. Well, first
shout out to Rangers.
So, to be fair, I don't want Gerrard as a Liverpool manager just yet for me.
Still think it's too early.
He's still too early. He's still got to earn his stripes. But he's done a fantastic job at Rangers, still unbeaten, and I love to see it. I'm all for him. I watch his career closely, just like I watch Xabi Alonso's career closely. 2 players that I will always love forever. And
wasn't Xabi Alonso named manager of some Bundesliga team?
He is, yeah. He's been named manager of a Bundesliga team recently. So really, for me, the ideal pairing would be in 5, 7 years, 10 years time would be Gerrard and Alonso co-managers of Liverpool. That would be just like me and heaven. Even if I didn't win anything.
So the last co-managers I remember at Liverpool that had, by the way, it never happens anymore. But I think the last co-managers I ever saw was at Liverpool, and it was Roy Evans and Gerard Houllier.
No,
Gerard Houllier. Yeah, they were both co-managers, and I think Roy Evans retired, and then Houllier took over. By the way, Sammy Lee is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet at your life. I used to do like a hospitality gig at the Emirates when it first opened in 2006, and obviously we used to get people coming in all the time and whatnot, including the Queen, by the way. And he was probably the only person in all the time I worked there who actually came over to us, lowly hospitality people, and shook our hands and said thank you and had a chat with us. And he's honestly one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Nice. Okay. Well, that puts a smile on my face. I do like.
Yeah, lovely man. So I've always followed him closely since then.
And the other thing is, Gerrard, like I hope he does well at Rangers. I hope he stays there for a couple of years, win stuff. With regards to us being in the Europa League, that could very, very much be a reality. Because I don't think we'll get top 4 by the league, but I'm hoping we win the Champions League. So we'll see what happens there. It's a very, very big hope, but nonetheless, stranger things have happened.
You got to dream big.
Always got a Champions League medal, mate. Anything can happen in football.
Yeah, you guys blagged your way to that one. That was crazy.
So, right. So you said let's go back to next weekend's results quickly.
Yes.
So you said 2-1 to Fulham against Wolves. Fulham at home. Yep. I think Wolves take something there because just Wolves are a great side. So I think 1-1 draw is what I'm going for.
Okay.
Next time we Leeds, City at home, 4-1 conclusion for me. That's a 2-1 City, but a comfortable 2-1 City.
I'm gonna go 4-1 City.
Ooh, possible, very possible. Leeds league goals, so you can see it.
They league goals. Leeds will score, but I think they'll smash it 4-1.
Next game is Liverpool Villa. Liverpool at home. I see us losing. That home form is still. It's like
no way.
It's like there's a holdover us at home right now without fans there. I think 1-1 or 2-1 Villa.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next was Chelsea. Palace at home. That's an easy 3-0 Chelsea. Chelsea will be angry from the last game.
Not for me. Not for me. I think Chelsea's slide is going to continue. I'm going to go 1-0 Palace.
Wow. Okay. we're going to talk about that next week. We're going to bring that right. Next one is Burnley Newcastle. It's a very hard one to call that game, I think,
That
personally.
is very hard. Burnley are at home, right? So
Yeah. I'm going to say 2-1 Burnley.
Yeah, 2-1
Burnley
Burnley
for
for me. No, I agree. 2-1 Burnley, yeah.
Next one's West Ham Leicester. This is a massive game for the Champions League, really. It's a really big game, this.
West Ham are at home.
Yeah.
Leicester just lost, but West Ham looks really good against us. I'm going to go 3-2 West Ham.
Wow. I'm going to say Leicester take that game 2-1.
Oh, wow. Entirely possible, yeah.
Yeah. Next one is Spurs United. Another big game.
Oh, God. Can they both lose? Is that a possibility?
Unfortunately.
Oh, damn.
I say United take that game 2-1. Or will Mourinho pull off a masterclass against United?
I'm going to go United 3-1. I think they'll take that. I think United are on the march 3-1.
Yep. Sheffield United, Arsenal. Arsenal should win that game 2-0, 3-0.
If we don't, I retire. So yeah, I'm not supporting. Like I officially hand in my membership, and that's the day I'm done. Sheffield United. So we're at Bramall Lane. We won there in the FA Cup. Tend to do quite well at Sheffield United, or against Sheffield United. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Okay. West Brom, Southampton. I'm going to say 2-1 to Southampton.
I'm going to go 1-0 Southampton.
Okay. And last game is Brighton Everton. For me, that's a tough game to call, really. Again,
very tough.
But I love Brighton, and I back them, and I back Potter, and I don't hate Everton, but local rivalry. I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton.
I'm going to go 2-0 Brighton.
Perfect. Well, that's this week's show. That's the end of it. Now, next week, obviously, we'll be looking at the weekend results. And if I'm not mistaken, we may be having another guest on.
We are indeed. The beast from the East, Germany. He's not actually from East Germany. So, no. But I just thought it sounded good. But yeah, our German friend is going to join us.
He is indeed. So we're going to be looking at Premier League results. We may even look at some Bundesliga as well next week, or an exciting question, and then we'll have some predictions for you again. So please join us next time, and thank you for joining us this week. It's been episode 6. Big Sam's got 5 on it. Deadball Specialist. Speak soon.
See you soon.